Hello guys and welcome to my channel's first video. Today I'll be talking about my beginner's tips and guide in playing Jobmania. First of all, this guide is intended to those who are completely new and doesn't have any idea on what to do in the beginning stages of this game. Just so you know, I'm not an expert and neither do I have extensive knowledge about this game, but in this tutorial, I'll be explaining some very useful stuff that I have discovered, and I do hope you find this information useful as you play. To start off, as you finish the game's tutorial phase, I highly recommend to first look up working gift codes that you can use right now. These gift codes would surely boost your initial resources in order for you to get your first hero and the job materials you need for your initial builds. Don't worry, I'll be writing some codes I know in the description below. So moving on, I highly recommend you to switch off your first hero as soon as possible, as the starting hero, which is the slime, actually gives you -1 ability points in every battle. I suggest getting the 4 or 5 star hero in the market as soon as you have enough resources to buy them. Now, if the resources you got using the gift codes are not enough, the two best ways to get some more initial resources is to first complete some missions, and second is to grind repeatedly the first 10 or 20 floors of the dungeon. Just be sure to always take into priority getting the golden chest, the green and red question marks, the traps, then the normal chest, and lastly, the monsters. Also, look out for the Midas treasures, and take all 5 treasures from it. Even if you get the Midas gold abilities, the resources you got are more important in this stage of the game. Just be sure to survive and be able to retreat so you won't lose all the treasures you have. Moving on, after obtaining all the necessary gold and crystals you need, it's time to think about the first build you want to make. And today, I'm going to be sharing to you the initial budget-friendly build I use to farm the first couple hundred floors of the dungeon easily. This may not be the most efficient build to start off, but this build would surely help you a lot in completing quests and securing resources faster so you can start creating whichever combo builds you like. This build relies on strength attribute though, so you could have easier runs if you are using strength type heroes such as my first hero, the Orc King Grishnal, or other strength type heroes like Bahamut. Next, there are only 2 jobs you need to create this build, and that is the King of Fighters, which would be your starting job, and the next is a Shogun, which will be your support. I will now be showing you how I dominate the first few hundred floors of the dungeon using only my +5 hero Grishnal and 5-star jobs, the King of Fighters and Shogun. Also, I'll be using the 2-star job Samurai, which is a prerequisite job for the Shogun, as my 3rd support job. With this build, the only attack you'll need to use is the Shungoku Setsu ability that comes with the King of Fighters. With this ability, you could basically one-shot every enemy within the lower floors with the right setup, because its damage increases as you increase your ability points and your strength attribute. Also, you must set it as your starting ability in the first time you meet the merchant. Also, I suggest duplicating this ability 3 to 5 times using Twin Fairy event. You could also duplicate some useful draw cards you come across too, such as Supplement and especially the Nap ability. Now, this was the part where I'm in floor 34 and finally got all 3 jobs I need. Also, another tip for you guys, you should always use the Merchant or the Stone Tiger event to remove all unwanted abilities you have. Now, this is the clip of me defeating the Goblin King Glass on floor 100. And this is the part where I defeat my twin brother Orc King in floor 180. Now this is where I defeat King Ancelus on floor 280. And finally, on floor 351 is where I decided to retreat. I would have gotten a lot further if not for me unluckily getting the no more level up additional effect when I got to floor 300. Although I could have managed to get around it if only I have more decent job to use. Unfortunately, right now, I only got the King of Fighters and the Shogun at my disposal. So, before we end, I want to tell you guys that if you want to imitate the run that I had just made, you should always pick the Goblin Invasion series, so you could always take advantage of the humanoid master buff of the Shogun, and also to avoid some powerful boss that has reflect buffs in them. And that's it guys, thank you for watching this tutorial, and if you guys have more tips to add, just drop them down in the comment section below. Also, like and subscribe if you want more tutorials like this in the future. Thanks again, and goodbye!